What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Me, my good friend Dark and Dragon, just chilling here. It's been a while since we had another profile up, so without further ado, our next profile is going to be my take on the Worm deck. So let's get started. As far as monsters are concerned, it's 3 Worms X. Basically, this is going to get most of your plays going in the deck. When you normal summon it, it lets you send one reptile type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Normally it's going to be Worm Yagin because that sets off a really easy play, which I'll get to in a second. But it can be anything really because with this deck, the graveyard's pretty useful. So that's that. Then of course, as mentioned, 3 Worm Yagins. Basically these guys, when in the graveyard and the only monster you control is Worm's X, you can special summon it face down. In defense mode. Also, when it's flip face up, you can send one face up monster your opponent controls back to their hand. But if you use this effect with Worm's X, it's removed for play when it's removed from the field. It's pretty handy, just in general, because, well, bouncing a card is really handy. And most people don't really just go, oh, it's going to attack into that repeatedly. So it'll buy you some time, which is basically this whole deck, stalling out, getting in your opponent's face, messing with them. Okay, also 3 Worm Carteros. You flip, add 1 level 4 reptile type monster. I'm sorry, it's Worm monster from your deck to your hand. Basically, probably Worm's X, or Yagin if you need it, because you can just set it and you'll get its effect off fine. Just basically pretty good searcher for this deck. Some extra stuff. Worm Links. Basically, it's another flip monster. When they're flipped at the end of the turn, you can draw a card. This works. It's really good. Just it works during your opponent's turn too. So just draw a card for free, basically. The only problem is it has to be flipped first, otherwise you don't get its effect. So you kind of have to plan it out a little bit. Otherwise, you just kind of sit and duck, not really doing you any good. I run 1 Worm Apocalypse, which lets you destroy a spell or trap card when it's flip face up. I'm sorry, it's a flip monster anyway, but yeah, that's basically it. It's something you can do if you don't have a Worm's X, but you don't want to waste a Yagin or something else. Just set this, destroy spell trap card, pretty handy. I run 3 Worm Kings. Basically, you can normal summon these by attributing 1 face up Worm monster, and you contribute another Worm monster, including itself, to destroy 1 card in the field. And that's really good. Because I've been many a times just like, oh, skill drain. I'm like, I don't care. Tribute Worm King, destroy a skill drain, and then go about my business. Just really good. And it's pretty strong, 27 attack points. Gets over most things. Alright. Now the non-worms. We're dealing with Gen X ally Birdman. Basically return a monster from your field to your hand and special summon it. Level 3 tuner. And Gen X, which hopefully you'll see where this is going right now. But basically that special summon is pretty handy because it lets you just get the plays out a little easier and it's a little faster. Plus, it's removed from play when you do that effect and it's sent to the graveyard. Actually, that's not relevant now. Whatever. If you're using something like Viper's Rebirth, that'd be pretty important to figure out and remember. Evil Dragon and Anta. This is actually something that you want to keep in mind for the rest of the deck. You're milling with Zex the whole time. So pretty much whenever you summon Zex, you want to mill a reptile. Not this, of course. Because you can remove from play every reptile in your graveyard or on the field and special summon this, and it gets 600 attack points per each card. So basically, what is this? You'd think I'd know the number of reptiles off the top of my head. But say you have 10. That's 6,000 attack points right off the bat. And you didn't really do anything. You probably didn't lose anything either. So 1, really good beater. 2, at the end of the turn, your turn, you just destroy a card. You have to destroy a card. So if their only card on the field is this, you just killed it. So that's something to keep track of. But still really good card, pretty handy. You can even consider running 2. It's pretty solid. And finally, because my deck is mostly all light except for Birdman, I run an Honest because light is a thing. Alright, that's it for monsters. Just keep in mind you're milling with Zex most of the time. And when you can, you just summon Worm King and wreck stuff. All right, spell cards. You know, nothing complicated, nothing super crazy. Pot of Everest, you know, because you're milling, and in case you just mill past some stuff, you want to put them back in the deck. 2 dualities. Spell summon is good in this deck, but you can get by without it. Like you play duality, add something to your hand, just set Zek, or not Zex, just set Yagen, and you know you can probably get by the turn. It's pretty easy. 2 MSTs, because MSTs. Book of Moon, you can actually use this to set your opponent's monsters, but if you felt like it, and has happened many a time when I've played this deck, is you just set your, or you turn your face down, Worm Yagen again, or Cardaros, and if you turn Worm Yagen down and you special summon it from the graveyard, when it's face up again, it's not moved from play. So that's just something you can remember if you just want to save the Yagen for some reason. 1 swords, I've experimented with running 2. It works fine. Right now it's at 1, but really good combo. This and Worm Links will probably get you a ton of cards. Just flip Links face up, play swords. Hopefully it won't get destroyed, but if it doesn't get destroyed, you're gonna draw some cards. Dark Hole, basic stuff. Monster Reborn, and Heavy Storm. So basically these spell cards just going through your deck, blazing speed, bring stuff back. Basic things, nothing too complicated. Trap cards is where where worms really they can do some damage, in my opinion. First off, we're dealing with Offering to the Snake Deity. You can destroy 1 reptile on your side of the field to destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. It's not a cost, so just keep that in mind. It's an effect, so it's, in my opinion, better than Icarus Attack because you don't automatically lose that monster that you're tributing on your side of the field. Good. It's a good card in general. 3 W Nebula Meteorites. In my opinion, this is what makes the Worm deck, what makes it faster and much better. Basically, you can flip face up all face down monsters. You get their effects, so keep that in mind. But at the end of the turn, all the reptiles that you have go face down. And for each one, you draw a card. And you get to special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile monster from your own deck. So in this case, it's going to be Worm King. If you're running a variant, then it'll probably be Worm Queen or Worm Victory, which is pretty solid themselves. But just basically a free Worm King if you do it right. All right. I've gotten some looks about this one, but Alien Brain. That's personal attack for me. Basically, when your reptile monster is destroyed by battle, you take control of the monster that destroyed it, and it becomes a reptile. It's saved my bacon, if you will, many times. Lots of people are like, oh, why you run this card? It's so whack. It's not. It's really useful. It's pretty handy, and why not? It's really good. People give you looks, tell them they're stupid. How about that? Useful card. 1 Starlight Road. If you really did like Alien Brain, you could consider running 2 of these if you felt like it. But since you're going to have some back row in this deck, you can just set it, just watch out for the Heavy Storms, just play it, some extra protection. Wabaku, same idea, protect your monsters this time. Same deal, combos with Wormlinks pretty well too, because if they attack it, you just, play this when they attack, and then it's not destroyed, and you get to draw a card at the end of the turn too. So, useful. Alright, 2 Compulse, because bouncing, I already mentioned that, I think. 2 Mirror Force, yeah, and 2 Bottomless. In this particular deck, the way I'm playing it is I may need to take some damage, like just to let some stuff through so I can set up my plays for the next turn. So I don't run the Solemns because right now, it's like in this deck, I'm adverse to paying life points. I don't want to just weaken myself like that. So if I'm in for a battle of attrition, I don't want to weaken myself. You know what I'm saying? So you can add them in. Like, they're obviously really good just right now. If you felt like it, take out the Alien Brain that some people just aren't fans of. But I'm good at none of them right now. So that's it for the main deck. Pretty simple. Just, worm stuff. But that's with extra deck. Personal flair. You know how I do. Except there's no Dark and Dragon because I can't. Anyway, 2 Gen X Triforce. That's what the Birdman is for, by the way. So basically, if you synchro with a light monster, which you will be doing, because it'll probably be, Zex, so it'll be face up. But anyway, it lets you special summon a light monster, a level 4 light monster from your graveyard face down. I think it's level 4 lower. But anyway, light monster face down. So basically what you're doing is like, you summon it, and then you use this effect to get Yagen or Carteros back, and then you get this effect again when someone attacks or if you decide to flip face up. Pretty handy. Plus 2,500 attack points. Pretty good. I had the Starlight Road, so Stardust Dragon just kind of slides right in there. It's good to have. Probably not going to summon it. You can with links, but probably not going to do it that way. But that's it for synchros. So moving on to Exceeds. Since most of the monsters you're going to be having on the field are level 4, except for Worm King. But anyway, Gemini Pearl, 2,600 attack points, pretty strong. Wind Up Zenmeister. Basically, this lets you put Yagen or Cardos something face down again, and at the end of the turn you flip face up, so you can get its effect again. Something to watch out for is that it's at the end of your turn, so it'll be face up in attack mode during your opponent's turn. So just something to pay attention to. 2 Utopias, because it's still good. Utopia, block some attacks, 25 attack points.
And it's light.
Oh. Well, yeah, light, you forget about this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's light, so you can use Honest with it too, which I guess. But yeah, that's good. 2 Mindstroke, because it disrupts. It's always good. Put them in defense mode. You can actually run over a lot of monsters that are in defense mode just by Worm's X. Because defense monsters don't have that in this game. But anyway, 1 Vylon Nisigma, because it might happen and it might come in handy. Actually, as of right now, like most of these monsters that are coming up now, you probably won't use them in a game, but when you need them, you'll be glad you had them, because many times been saved by Disigma. And all right, moving on. Abyss Dweller, same idea. Evil Swarm Nightmare, just special summon, turn it face down, run over it with some lesser worm, if you will. Shockmaster. When you're in the lead and you get this out, it's kind of putting salt in the wound there. Shockmaster wins games. Keep that in mind. Steel Swarm Roach. This and Evil Swarm Nightmare just kind of are interchangeable, but since I have space, I can just run them both. Basically, just think about what deck your opponent's using and then choose wisely. It'll probably work out in your favor.
So no evolvable chain or like.
It's not necessary at all, but because you'd probably want to mill with Zex, because if you have Zex and you mill Yagen, you get Yagen back. But with Evolved Chain, it's in the way, So it like, if you felt like it, you can add it in. Just take out this card I'm about to show you right now, which is just like kind of extra. But you mill with the Evolved Chain, and then if you want to set up that play for Evil Dragon and Nanta, if you were doing that, that'd be fine too. But I personally don't. Last card, Photon Papillooperative. Pretty sure I said that right. Just something to keep in mind, because you can combo this off with, Book of Moon, Storm Nightmare, freaking Symphony Djinn. But you can change a defense monster to attack and lose 600 attack points. So if you couldn't get over it with your other worms, you can probably get over it with this if you can get it out. So once again, just pretty useful thing to keep in mind. So that's the deck. Basic strategies, revolves around Zex, and all the other stuff is like, what else can I do while Zex is doing his business?
No side deck? Side deck.
We know how to do side decks. I know it's only the second video, but side decks is up to you. I can see, personally, I can see if I was in a tournament, side decking the Solemns, Torrentials, stuff like that. Maybe switching up the extra deck if I felt it was going a little too slow. And maybe side decking in a extra Evil Dragon or Worm Queen, something like that. But yeah, once again, side decks are for you guys. You guys got the side decks. I got the main deck. But then you just tweak it however you want. Anyway, that's it for this deck. Sorry, Dark Dragon, he doesn't fit. He has the wrong attribute. So hopefully next time he'll be in the deck. You'll see. But anyway, that's it for this. So this is Steve, Neg 11 Studio. I'm out.